Republican candidate for Attorney General Eric Toney, along with sheriffs from Dodge and Washington counties, called on Attorney General Kaul this afternoon to release some information. The group gathered outside of the Rice Justice Center to address the problem of unfilled DOJ positions. The three are asking Kaul to release the number of available DCI agent positions and DOJ prosecutors positions before and after he was voted into office, claiming the amounts are too high. Toney says agencies across the state do not have adequate resources, and this is especially problematic as crime is on the rise.
Because there are fantastic agents and employees at our Department of Justice, at DCI, and those prosecutors, and if they have less of those positions filled, that puts more work on them, or they're reducing services to our law enforcement, as we have seen historic violence and a drug epidemic across Wisconsin.
Toney adding, if Kaul prioritizes public safety, he will release the information about the vacant positions to the public.